Okay, cool. We'll begin uh, with threads. Threads and threads method. I'll just recap what did we do yesterday. Yesterday we saw what is multi-threading and what are all the conditions that should be there uh, to use or to implement multi-threading concept in Java. What are all those conditions?
First of all, we should have multitask.
Yeah. First, to do multi-threading or to achieve this multitasking in Java multi-threading, we should have multiple tasks that we can do independently. Okay, that becomes the second condition, right? Second condition is one thread.
Mutually exclusive.
All the threads should be mutually exclusive, or like they should be independent of each other. Okay, yesterday as I told about the task, reading one file, it depends on reading one file only. Okay, and reading another file doesn't depend on reading some other file. So they are mutually exclusive. That makes like if our Windows system had incorporated this thing, then the searching in Windows system would have become very easy. Yeah, if you search in some Windows system which is a bit older, you'll see that it is in progress. That green bar would slowly come up, come up, come up. But if you can just create a search engine using this multi-threading, which becomes more faster. Can somebody mute yourself? Okay. So that helps a lot in a kind of searching and going into multiple folders inside our own system and picking up things. That was one of the projects in Uttara. So it really helps. Okay, multi-threading, which is independent of each other, the tasks that are independent of each other, if you inculcate multi-threading to achieve those tasks, then it becomes super fast. Okay, then what is the third condition?
Must involve third-party resources.
Yes, they should involve third-party resources. Then only it becomes like a complete scenario for uh, deploying multi-threading in that particular requirement. So this is the thing that was the requirement for implementing multi-threading for some scenarios, for some requirements. Then we learned that how can we create multi-threading, or how can we achieve multi-threading in Java? What are all the two steps that we need to do to achieve multi-threading?
Extend multi-thread class and override run.
Yeah, first we have to create multiple tasks, right? How can we create multiple tasks? We can create multiple tasks by either by extending threads class or by implementing the runnable interface, and then giving the implementation, our own implementation, our own logic, our own problem solving code in that particular run method. Okay, so overriding run method and write our code to achieve that task. This is how we create multiple tasks. Then coming to creating the thread objects, we should create thread objects, then call which method on that thread object?
Start.
Start. Until and unless you call start method, the JVM will not create a separate thread of execution, and it will not create a separate stack. So it will remain as a thread object, but it will not create a separate thread of execution. Once you call the start method using that thread object, then your JVM starts a new thread of execution with a new control flow, with new stacks, for those particular respective threads, then it executes on its own and our main thread executes on its own. So this is the very basic things that we need to know. How are we going to create thread objects, and before that, how are we going to create separate tasks which implements runnable or extends thread to make it as a thread later when we create thread objects. So any questions in this? This is all we discussed yesterday. Any questions?
Up to here, no, sir.
Okay, cool. Everybody clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
So as some of you have already seen this, might have read this also. So some of the most important things that we should know in the threads class, as we know some of the important methods in strings, collections, in the same way we have to know some of the, there are so many other methods which are of not use at present. So we have to know some of these methods and these things to start using thread class. Okay, so each and every thread has something called as priority, and we can set the priority for thread. What do you mean by priority? General English term?
Importance.
Yes, importance. So make something as more important than other. So this is what is priority means. We can do that using a method called set priority, but in threads, as Vikram sir told yesterday, it's not sure that whether it is going to give that priority to that particular thread or not. It is not certain. It is uncertain. If we can set the priority, and there is a chance for JVM or our OS behind the scenes to give that priority to that thread, and there is also a miss on that particular priority. There is also a chance of miss on that particular priority. It's not sure. In threads, it's not sure that how our JVM behind the scenes OS is going to execute that particular thread of execution. Okay, it may give the priority, it may not give the priority, but we have an option that, and it may take that option and it may not take that option. It depends on the hands of JVM. Okay, cool. So we have some standard priority values, and always our priority, our set priority int value should depend or should be in that range. What do you think is the min priority? Can take a guess.
It's the least priority we are giving.
What may be the value?
0.
It's not 0, it's 1. Okay, then what may be the max priority? Value.
9.
It's 10. It's 1 to 10. Okay, 10 being the max priority means most important, and 1 being the min priority means least important. And what may be the norm priority?
5.
Maybe 5.
5. Okay, cool. We'll just check this by printing that those particular constants. Okay, so I will just print those things so that we'll be very clear about that. Minimum thread priority. Okay, plus thread dot min priority, and we'll just copy this, paste. It's max priority. It's norm priority. Okay, cool. So we will run this. You see, minimum thread priority is 1, maximum, sorry, it should have been maximum. Maximum and norm. Okay, so we'll clear the console and run it again. You see, minimum thread priority is 1, maximum thread priority is 10, and normal thread priority is 5. These are all what, guys? These are all what? By seeing the naming convention, what you can tell, what are these?
Constants.
These are all constants of the thread class, means it is fixed. You cannot change that, change those priority values. Maximum is always 10, minimum is always 5, and norm, sorry, minimum is always 1 and norm is always 5. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. So yeah, then we'll come to important methods to know. Okay, we have to know what is the current thread that is going on in execution. So for that, to know that, we have something called as current thread. Okay, excuse me. So we will print this, what's happening here. Okay, before this, we'll just SOP current thread. Okay, thread dot current thread off. So what do you think it will print? What do you think?
Main thread. Main thread.
Yeah, it will print the main thread, and it will also print some other additional information. If we run this, you see current thread is thread, and it gives this particular thing is some unique ID for the thread. It is the name of the thread, and it is the priority, which is 5, means it is a normal priority. And this thing is something called as group of thread name. Okay, thread group name. Okay, it belongs to main thread group. Okay, this is what it means. So we can do the same thing inside this NATO job and see what it is printing. Okay, so when it comes here, then it's for sure that it is starting, it has started a new thread, and it should print the current thread. Okay, and we can print the same thing here also. So we'll run, we'll just clear the console. You see, so first was 1, ID 1, and it was main, the name of the thread, and it is priority 5, it belongs to main thread group. And second, it's we can just name it so that we can see which thread is getting printed. Current thread of NATO, and save it, and we can tell current thread of NRV. Okay, we'll save it, then clear the console and run again. See, first NATO thread got printed, and its ID is 21, and its name is thread 05, and which is the priority and belongs to main thread group. And that is what is printed here in when you print the current thread in NRV job. Okay, any questions? Any questions, guys? Current thread will print the current thread name along with some other peripheral information. Okay, so then we'll come back here. There is a method called sleep. Okay, we can call a thread or we can start a thread, and after some time or after starting that thread, we can tell that please stop that thread for few seconds. Okay, or for few milliseconds. It will take a just a minute, guys. Okay, cool. Sorry. So there is a sleep method which makes a thread to sleep for few milliseconds. Okay, so we can call it on some thread objects like this. We have created a thread. We have created a thread and we have made it, or we have started it. Okay, after this, before starting the thread 2, we can tell that, so make this thread 1 dot sleep. Okay, and we will give some 300 milliseconds. Okay, this sleep method, why are we getting this error? Can you assume, or don't assume, can you guess? What might be the error?
Maybe it surrounded by try catch.
Yeah, correct. So this sleep method will throw an exception which is called as interrupted exception. So we have means we are interrupting a thread. Okay, that may cause some exception. So that may cause our program to crash. So it is a checked exception. It throws an interrupted exception. So we have to surround it, or we have to handle that particular exception. How can we handle it? We have to surround it with try catch. Okay, so I'll put this both inside try catch. Sorry. Now you can see the output, like if we give some more, like 500 milliseconds. We'll go back here, clear the console, and you see there was a gap and then it started. Did you observe that? Shall I give a bit more? I'll give some 1000 milliseconds, means 1 second. We'll just clear the console. See? Did you observe?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Sir.
Okay. That means it makes this thread to sleep, okay, for 1000 milliseconds. Then it will allow next to get printed. Okay. So even here, we do not know how execution happens. It just printed everything that was there. If we print some till 100, okay, we can print till 100. It is just 5. So print till 100. So just come over here. You see? So after all natu, it slept for a few seconds and then it slept for 1 second and then it printed this. We do not know how it executed, but it printed everything at once and then main ended. Then it started the another thread of execution and started running that. Clear? You cannot predict what happens while running. So let's see what happens if we put it here before after thread 2 dot start. Okay, save this and I will run. You see, so this first thread got started, second thread got started printing. Then after completion, it just after that it waited for 1 second, then it printed main ended. Did you observe that? So this is how sleep works. So then next method is start. We already know we use start method to start the thread of execution. Run method is the method that we code in that particular class where we have to implement our own logic for problem solving in a separate thread of execution. Then there is a method called isAlive. I told you yesterday there are separate states of threads. Okay, first is what is that? I just remember it's a start state. No, new state, start state. Then comes runnable, start or runnable. Then comes blocked or wait state. Then comes we can just Google that. So just Google states of thread in Java. Just see images. You see this. Okay, you have start state and you have stop state. And if you start a thread, when you create a thread, it enters the start state. Okay, when you start the thread, when you call start method on that, it enters runnable state. Okay, if you and if it is running, it is in running state. If you call sleep, if you call suspend, if you call wait, it will enter blocked state. Okay, then it can enter stop state from any of the particular states. Okay, so then after sleep it again enters runnable. It run and it enters, if there is a chance of running it, it enters running, it completes running and enters stop state. Okay, so this is how these are the states of threads that you should know. So when coming back to our thing, so isAlive will tell whether our thread is alive or not. Okay, so we can just print it. Print it here in our main method, like now thread is alive. Okay, then I call thread1 dot is alive. Okay, we save this and we'll just reduce it to 10. We'll go back here. Where did we print that? We printed before sleeping. So that before sleeping and after sleeping. So we will clear the console and run it. You see, not2 thread is alive, false, and not2 thread is alive, true. Okay, when it was alive, it was true. When it got over, when it got
Sir,
printed
check
everything
after the main ends.
after
Once
main
the
ends
main. Yeah.
of main thread. Which thread should I check?
Check
Same.
either of thread 1 or thread 2.
Okay, cool. So we'll just after main ended. It should be what it should have been. After it completes the job. Okay, cool. I got it. I got your point. What you want to check? Just run it. So after main ended, it is false. That means by that time, since we are calling the sleep, if we do not call sleep here, let's check on that. We have to make this permutations and combinations. What is the error? Okay, we'll just do it as exception. You see, main started, normal thread priority all is printed of where main ended, then where is it printing the NATO thread is alive. So this is inside that NATO thread is alive is true again. So I'll just print some this thing so that it becomes more clear. Okay, so we'll run it again. So after main ended also it is printing true, means it is still running. That thread 1 NATO thread is still running. After that it will just once it doesn't once it completes that thread of execution and you print whether it is alive or not, then it gives you false. That's what happened when we called sleep and then called is alive. Okay, now we will check again. You see, after main ended, after everything main ended and NATO is alive is false. Clear? We cannot predict. 100% we cannot predict when what happens when we are running with multiple threads. Okay, so next method is set priority. As I told, we can set the priority of a particular thread from the range 1 to 10, 1 being the minimum, the least priority, 10 being the maximum, the highest priority. Okay, so we come back here. Yeah, so we'll set the priority of thread 1. Thread 1 dot set priority to 8. Okay, or 10. We'll set it for 2, thread 2, and we will set the priority of thread 1 to least. Okay, thread 1 dot set priority to 1. We'll run this. Just go and reduce it to 5 so that we can save and will not call sleep. So we'll run this. See, even by setting the priority of thread 1 to least, thread 2 to highest, what did we get? We were not sure that NATO itself got started first and then Ramaya Vastavaya got started next. As I told, it's not sure that whether it will consider that priority or not. So it is left to JVM. Okay.
Then what's the use
Clear?
of set priority, sir?
I don't know.
If we given
Means what we can tell is our duty is to set the priority, but we do not know how JVM executes, how JVM allocates resources for that particular job. We do not know. it may take that. It may take that, but if it takes, that becomes an advantage. If it doesn't take, we cannot do anything. Got it?
Okay, sir. Got it.
Then, okay, cool. Next, we can get the priority of those particular threads using get priority. Okay, we can print that thread 1 dot get priority and thread 2 dot get priority. We just print that thread 2. Save this. Thread 1 P and thread 2. Okay, save this and run this. Thread 1P is 1 and thread 2P is 10. Okay, then that was the use of get priority. Then we'll come back. So set name. As we saw, when we print the current thread using current thread method, it printed some thread 0, thread 1 as the name of the threads. We can set the name of the threads to whatever string that we can. So like we will go back here and we tell thread 1 dot set name what not to thread, right? Not to, okay. And now and thread 2 is NRB. Okay, so now if we run this and see, you see current thread is main, and for NRV thread it is NRV, and for not to thread it is not to. Okay, you can see the priorities here. For main thread it is a normal priority, for NRV thread it is 10, thread 2, and for thread 1 it is priority 1. Okay, it belongs to main thread group.
Sir,
Any questions? Yeah.
can we set the name for main method?
We can, I hope. Let's try that. I have not tried that. Thread dot current thread is main, right? So dot set name. What do you want to set? We'll set it Uttara. Okay. And I will just print main thread plus thread dot current thread dot get name. Okay, we'll see whether what happens. So we can identify it easily. So see, you can change the main thread like this. It's a hack. You cannot access or you cannot create main thread on your own because JVM creates main thread. But how can you access that thread? Using that current thread. thread dot current thread object. It will return the object or reference of that particular thread, and you can do whatever operations as you can do with other threads using those methods. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool, good. Anything else? Any questions till now?
So, is it possible to monitor the health of the main thread from the other threads?
Possible to maintain?
Is it possible to
What
call the salive method and check the main thread's status from the other thread?
No, no. How there might be a way, but I don't know. So how can you create that thread? You have to create the object of thread, right? To create that thread, it should be implementing runnable, or it should be extending extending threads class. But our if you do that, then in this class, but I think no, not possible, because it should have run method. It will execute only run method. It will not execute main method, right? Main becomes the starting point, but we do not know whether we can do that. But whatever you do, it is in the main. If main ends, then it's not alive, right? You can call alive before main end. So I think it's not possible. If you find a way, let me know.
Okay.
Most probably it's not possible to maintain main thread from another thread. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Good. Thank you. Good question, but I do not know a particular answer. So, okay, cool. Then, so we got set name, we got get name. So yesterday there was a question, what if I want to run one thread after another thread is finished? Okay, we have something called as join method, which joins one thread to another. Okay, so you start a thread and you wait till that thread is completed, then you begin another thread. Means you join one thread to another. Okay, you wait there. So this is how we can implement join. So I'll just comment everything out, so we will understand. It's a bit difficult to understand how is it working. So I'll just comment everything out. Okay, so just copy these things of creating thread objects. Now we will call thread1 dot start. We had observed that, so main will start and we create thread objects, and thread1 will start. Before thread1 gets completed, main gets completed, right? This was the normal observation that we have done. But if I want to wait until thread1 is completed to complete main, I will call thread1 dot join. Okay, so even here this join method will throw an interrupted exception. So this also should be enclosed within try catch block. Okay, so we'll cut this, paste this. Okay, cool. So we'll run this. You see, main started, current thread is thread of Natu is thread 21, and we have not set the name, so it gives thread 0 and priority 5. Okay, so it completed Natu and then main ended. So before this join, okay, before this join, what was the situation? What was our observation? We run this. You see, main started, main ended, and then it starts. It was created, it was started, and then it starts this execution of this not to. But if we tell we have to join this thread to main thread, okay, then only our main thread of execution waits for this start or this thread to complete and then join to the main thread. Okay, got it? Clear? Now if we run this again, you see main started, this started and completed, then only main ended. Any questions? Any questions? I'll create, this will give you more understanding. I will create or I will start the thread 2 also. Thread 2 dot start. Now you tell me what will be the what output. You take a
Once
guess.
after the main ends, the thread 2 will start.
Most probably like that. It will not wait for thread 2 to start or complete. It will just wait for thread 1 to start and complete because you have called join on thread 1. So we will run this. You see main started, not to got completed fully, then main ended, then it started the second thread. Suppose we want to wait till the thread 2 also completes, then we have to call thread 2 to join. Thread 2 dot join. Okay. So now if we run this, clear the console. You see, it started thread 1, thread 2, waited for completion, then main got ended. Clear?
So can we able to join once after the thread 1 completes, the thread 2 have to join. Can we able to do that?
Sorry, I did not get you. We have
Means
to.
once after the thread 1 that code completes, the
Okay.
thread 2 have to join.
Yeah, that's what is happening, right? So what's happening is here, thread 1 started and you call join, right? It will not continue with this execution. It will wait. Once this completes, this thread of execution completes, then only thread 2 starts. Okay, then only this statement is executed and you call join on thread 2 also. So it will not execute any other further statements here until and unless this thread 2 is completed. Okay, then only it comes out and the last statement was main ended, it got printed. Now you got understood?
Yes, sir. Show me the output. Once again.
Okay. You see, thread 1 started and it waited for completion. Then thread 2 started, waited for completion because we are calling join. Then we are having main ended statement. It executes that. Then it completes the main thread also. Got it?
Yes, sir, got it. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Any questions? If you
So
want me to
can-
explain again.
So can you interchange line 16 and 17 and tell me what happens?
Line 16 and 17. You tell me what happens.
Thread 2 will start and then it'll again wait for whatever thread 1 to complete. Then it'll again wait for thread 2 and so on, I guess.
No. Thread 1 will start, thread 2
And thread 2
will
will
start.
start.
Only main method will wait. Okay, main method will wait, and because you are calling in this particular thread, main thread will wait for these two to get executed and get completed. Now we do not know in which manner these two will give the output. Okay, this may start first and start executing, or this may start first and start executing. Okay, we cannot tell that. So we'll just run this and see
Yes.
what happens. Okay, earlier thread 1 got started and thread 2 start was waiting for thread 1 to complete. Okay, now after that thread 2 got started, main was waiting for both to complete. Okay, now we are starting both the threads simultaneously, but main is waiting for both the thread to complete. Okay, we'll just run it. You see, main started. So current thread, both the thread got started. So first thread was second thread that got executed. That run method was called, and first output was that. And we cannot predict how it ran this. But main method is waiting or waited till both the methods or both the run method got completed or both the thread of executions got completed, and then main ended.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Okay, cool. Any other questions? Anything else that you did not understand? It's a bit tricky because we cannot predict the output. But this is how it works. This is certain that if you call join, the running thread will wait to join or to that particular thread to complete. Okay, this current thread will wait for that particular thread to complete. Clear? And we can just call join method. There is an overloaded method with milliseconds. Here we can tell that you wait, but you can wait for this milliseconds. If it did not complete, you can go on with your execution. We can just tell that by thread1.join and pass some 40 milliseconds. Okay, and we'll run this. So we cannot predict within 40 milliseconds it could have. Suppose if we give, let's check just to check whether I do not know what will be the output. 1 milliseconds. Okay. Okay, cool. I'll just don't call this, or I will give 1 milliseconds even here. You see, it waited for 2 milliseconds to get completed. It waited whether they will join in 2 milliseconds. They did not join. So it continued with the further execution of that particular thread. This is how join method works. Clear? Hello, clear?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Any doubts?
Sir, is this how you
Hello, sir.
achieve concurrency in multi-threading, or is there some other class like concurrency class or something?
This is one of the way to achieve concurrency. There are
Okay,
some
sir.
other class called synchronized, synchronous. There are two classes. I do not remember clearly. There are two classes, synchronized and synchronous. So they are also used to achieve thread concurrency.
Sir, what do you mean by concurrency?
Means you wait for another thread to complete, or there is a cooperation between threads, especially when you deal with same kind of data. Okay, same data. Okay, there is a file. One thread is also accessing the same file, and another thread is also accessing the same file. and you should have concurrency, like it should be open for both the threads. That is what is called as concurrency. Concurrently you are accessing the same file, same data. But so many data structures that we saw, we have also something called as concurrent list. If you have heard that name, I might have told, or there is a list. All other array lists and linked lists, they do not cooperate with what updation or deletion or anything by one or more threads. It cooperates with only one thread. You can update or deal with that particular data structure with only one thread. You cannot operate on one particular array list using multiple threads. But there is a one particular class which is called as concurrent list, which allows concurrent other many threads to operate on one data object, which is called as concurrency. Which allows multiple threads to operate on one data object. Understood?
Yes.
So, any questions? These are all the main basic methods. We can get the state of, as I told, there are multiple states. We can get the state of current thread using get state. Let's see what it prints. One dot get state. Just print a message so that so thread 1 state is runnable. Okay, it has not yet started running, so it is runnable. Once it starts running, it enters to running state. Once it is blocked, or when it goes to sleep or like that, it is in blocked or waiting state. Once it is in, it can come back to runnable state, or it can and then from runnable to running, or it can go to stop directly. Okay, if the thread enters to some situation called as deadlock, then it will enter into the blocked state and it will stay there permanently in the blocked state. Clear?
Sir,
Clear?
sir,
Any? Yeah.
can you call the sleep method? And after the sleep method, can you call the get state so that we can get to know on which state it is running?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
we'll call thread1 dot sleep before this. Thread1 dot sleep for will give 500 milliseconds. I'll just not call join, and I will get the state before and after. So thread1 state before sleep, and thread1 state after sleep. So clear the console. So it's runnable after sleep. It ran before it got executed with terminated. Let's see. Let us give 1000. Even 1000 is a long time. So it is runnable and it got executed and it got terminated. Clear?
Yes,
So we
sir.
cannot predict. We cannot predict.
Okay, okay.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's
So,
check
sir,
with-
a request. Can you change in the number of NATOs being printed to some 1,000 in the NATO job Java file?
Yeah, let's see with let's check with 5 seconds
Okay.
first. So it's waiting for 5 seconds. Even then that is happening, we'll change it to some 200 and we'll give some more dots. But it's waiting. Okay. Even then we'll give some 1000. Okay. It's waiting. The thread is waiting. It's terminated. So the JVM is so fast, it's executing, and then it is before yeah, where is this? It is in main method, right? See, it is in main method. Our thread 1 got started, thread 2 got started. Main started, thread 1 started, thread 2 started, thread 2 got started executing, and it got finished. Then we have thread 1 is got executed, it printed till 999, then it went into sleep, then it got terminated, then that's it. So we cannot predict, or we cannot get if it has got into that particular sleep state or blocked state. We could not get that. Try with higher numbers and you see if you can get that. Any other questions? So we have covered all the most important thread class methods. Okay, I'll just give you a task to go through. So thread in Java. So you go through this Oracle documentation on threads. Okay, it's very helpful, guys. So you'll find you may not understand most of the things, but it will give you an idea. You need not worry about many of the things like count stack frames. These things will never use. Okay, whatever we discussed, only those things we use and nothing much. Okay, I have discussed everything that we you can use at present. Okay, we do not use suspend, we do not use these deprecated methods, we never use. Okay, because they are all old methods. Okay, suspend, stop, these things we'll never use, because one reason, main reason is it is deprecated, it is old. So we have discussed sleep milliseconds and nanoseconds. You can give both. Okay, means it is in 2.5 milliseconds. To do that, you will give 2 milliseconds and with 5 nanoseconds, something like that. And set priority we saw, set name we saw, and this daemon and all, please don't worry about that now. I've discussed all the things that we have that we can use at present, and that is very helpful for us now. Okay, please go through this document once, give it a read. It will be helpful. Okay, you will remember things if you give this particular documentation a read. Okay, this is the task for today. Any other questions you have? Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. Everybody okay with this?
Which website was it?
It is Oracle's website, Oracle's official website. I can share the link if you want. I will share it in the group.
Sir, share this file also.
Yeah, I will share the file. Everybody clear? These concepts
sir.
are a bit tricky, guys. One main thing is that you should know these methods are there. You should know approximately that this will provide the output like this. That's it, and nothing much. You need not scratch your head or bump your head against a wall. You should just know this. We can create multiple tasks using thread or runnable. How to create the thread objects, both using thread class and runnable. To use runnable, to create thread objects using runnable, you have to create runnable objects first, then give that as the parameter to the thread constructors. Then you should be able to start the thread and check multiple methods on that, like whether the set priority, get priority, set name, get name, and most importantly, those join method. Join method is very important. One of because it helps in doing some problems and all like that. So join method is the one most important that we should know. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, Dan. We'll meet in the next session.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye.